everybody. Caesar Book 5, Section 44, the sweet little story of Pullo and Vorenus. So, in this legion, there were the bravest men, centurions, who were nearing the first rank, Titus Pullo and Lucius Vorenus. They were always having contests between themselves. For instance, who was preferred? Little indirect question. And with the greatest amount of rivalry, from the greatest amounts of rivalry, they were having these fights for all the years. Out of them, Pullo, although he was being attacked at the defenses most harshly, said, "What are you waiting for, Vorenus? For what place are you waiting for showing your strength? This day will judge. This day will be the judge, basically, of our rivalry." When he had said these things, so this is Pullo. When he had said these things, he jumped down beyond the defenses, where he jumped down beyond the defenses and broke through into the part where the enemy seemed most packed, or in the most packed in part of the enemy. So this is Pullo. He basically jumps over the wall and jumps into where the enemy are. Vorenus, then, indeed, he could not contain himself in the wall, and indeed, having feared the opinion of all others, of all the other Romans, he followed Pullo closely. So Pullo, with a little space having been left behind, he let loose a javelin against the enemy and pierced one of a crowd, pierced one who was running towards him. So with this one seemingly struck and dead, the Nervii came over and protected him with their shields, and all at once the Nervii threw weapons in hostem against their enemy, Pullo. And they didn't give him any opportunity of retreat. So the shield of Pullo was pierced, and he was struck with a spear in his sword belt. And so because he was struck with this spear in the sword belt, he couldn't reach his sword with his right hand, and so that's what this next part is. So this bad chance, hic casus, this bad chance turned away, or literally, if you want to take the falling of this spear, turned away his sword sheath and delayed his right hand in leading out the sword, in bringing out the sword. as he was trying. So this is a dative describing Pullo, basically a dative of possession or reference, describing whose right hand was delayed. And the enemy surrounded him, having been delayed. So now Pullo is under attack. But Vorenus, yay, his enemy Vorenus runs up to him and offers help, or just helps him, Pullo, as he is struggling. A great crowd brings itself up to Vorenus from Pullo. So the crowd of Gauls thinks that Pullo is dead, and they switch their attention to Vorenus. So the whole crowd verges onto Vorenus immediately, and for they think that Pullo had been killed by the spear. Vorenus battles Rem-Garret. He battles hand to hand with his sword, and for a little while is able to push back the rest of the Gauls, with one of them having been killed. While he pressed on rather diligently, or rather eagerly, he, having been pushed into a disadvantaged place, fell. And in turn, Pullo comes as help to him, surrounded. So now Pullo, who wasn't dead, comes to help his friend and rival Vorenus. And both of them, recipient se intermunitiones, both of them take themselves back into the defenses, unharmed, with many others having been killed, and they do this summa cum laude, with great honor. With the many others having been killed, probably means other Romans and Gauls. Thus, in this contentione and cetomene, so thus in this battle and struggle, fortune played out for each one, as one enemy was as help to another, was as help and a salvation to another. Thus, it was not possible to be decided which one seemed more preferable than the other in virtue. Oh, what a nice story.